Hello, Steve White, Steve White's 89. I screwed up so bad. I've been hearing good things about The Mandalorian, and I was planning to watch it, but I don't have Disney Plus. I wasn't going to get 2 months worth of it, basically. I thought I'll just wait until there's 4 episodes left, and I'll get Disney Plus, and I'll watch the first, a marathon, whatever's available, the first 4 or 5 episodes, and then I'll just watch the last couple episodes week by week, and I'll probably do reviews of them or something like that. I thought there was 10 or 13 episodes. There was only 8. So I was a bit put off by Ahsoka, by the actress, because of all the allegations of her beating the trans person and all this stuff, and just the politics just sort of turned me off of the actresses. Also, the other one. And I sort of didn't do it a week or so ago like I was planning to. And I meant to look to see how many episodes and make sure that how many there were and when I should tune in. I was sort of thinking I'd have to tune in around 6 because I thought there were 10 episodes originally, and then I thought there was more. But no, there was 8 episodes and the final episode just happened, and it's already been spoiled for me. I know the ending. Basically, the main characters are all trapped in some control room, like they've fought their way into a corner, and there's a whole bunch of droids, troopers or whatever outside the door, and they're stuck. That's what it looks like from what I've seen. And they have an X-Wing come in, and the guy gets out in a cloak, black leather glove on his hand, green lightsaber, and people are like, oh my god, is it Luke? Is it Luke? And he goes through and takes all of them out, chops them all up with the lightsaber, and crushes one with his hand, using the Force, of course. And then goes in, the door opens, they're all standing there looking, he lifts up the hood, and it's Luke Skywalker, like Return of the Jedi era sort of. I'm not sure exactly what year this is. I haven't been following Star Wars closely enough to realise exactly what year the Mando set in. I sort of thought they'd distanced it, actually. I didn't realise it was the era was that compatible, that he was still that Luke. So, of course, they ask, is he a Jedi? And he motions for Baby Yoda to come with him. And Baby Yoda was like touching the screen when you could see him fighting people on the security cameras and that, like he knew. And of course, Mando has to say goodbye, and Pascal gets his little moment, gets to take his helmet off. He takes his helmet. The Baby Yoda goes to reach for his face, like he's saying, I want to see your face, I haven't seen your face. So he takes his mask off so he can say goodbye, and of course he cries like a bitch, and I was pretty much crying at that point, and it was like one scene that I was watching. I hadn't been watching the whole episode, and I've only seen bits from the last few episodes, so it's not like, but to me it worked. And he says goodbye, and Luke and R2-D2 are there, and they just go to the end of the hall, and they turn around, and he's there holding Baby Yoda, and they're all standing there crying, basically, and then the doors slide, and apparently that's the end. I'm like, oh my fucking god, that would have been awesome to see the whole thing in sequence after having watched the whole series and how it all lead up to that, but I screwed up. There was only 8 episodes. I should have checked. I thought there was 10, and I meant to get the Disney Plus like a week or so ago, like when we got to like the 6th episode. I thought there was 10, so I thought, well, episode 6, and then I can do the last few week to week, and then my membership will end just as, it finishes. I didn't know there was 8. I'm so kicking myself. I didn't check. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if someone was complaining that there wasn't 13 episodes, like there should be 10 or 13 episodes. I thought someone said there was 10 or 13 episodes. I should have checked. It's ruined forever. But, it was still great. I had that emotional reaction when I watched just the scene. And it worked. Some people are complaining, of course. I was listening to Midnight's Edge, and that's how I found out everything that was happening. I wasn't expecting that big an ending for the show. And he was complaining. He's like, I'm not willing to forgive Disney. I'm not willing, unless they, denounce the sequel series and remove it from canon and apologise to me personally. I'm going to keep ranting and raving and complaining, basically. And I'm like, you just don't want to be happy. You just want to be a victim. You need to keep up this thing so that you can keep doing your videos and keep sort of having that baiting for your base or whatever. It's just really sad that he couldn't just enjoy this great moment and enjoy realizing that this show is trying to be Star Wars. They're not directly undoing the sequel series, because Disney, they can't do that because they still need to make money out of this series for the rest of like eternity. So they can't denounce it. Now, can they underwrite it with an alternative universe or something? Can they have something change and then explain it the way that it's like that, the whole veil of the Force or whatever they're talking about? Can they find a way to have two universes so the people who love Star Wars can enjoy that one and the people who like the sequel series can just F off and watch that? That's sort of what they could do with Star Trek. They could have Discovery in its own universe. I mean, it is, but they could acknowledge it and then actually do some Star Trek in the old original canon universe or the new canon universe, whatever time they want to use. And both sides of the fan base, both elements, both fan groups can enjoy both. Because Discovery hates Star Trek, and Star Trek, a lot of those fans don't like Discovery. Some do, because they didn't really get Star Trek on a deeper level. They just sort of got it superficially, so they don't see much difference between Discovery and that. It's the same thing with Star Wars. People who hate the sequel series love the originals and like the prequels and like Mando. And if Mando keeps going this way, they can enjoy that. And if they do a bunch of series and they're all in the same spirit of trying to be like Star Wars, they'll have a happy future. They'll have happy content. They'll be happy with it. But not if they just hold this grudge and just need to have this victimhood and this anger and this hate, because they know that gets clicks. They know that gets attention. Someone complains, people are on that in a second. If someone's happy and sharing it, people, don't give a crap. They just want to find the negative, want to find the fight, find a way to be victimized and be outraged, and then martyr themselves with their great, attack on whatever, threat. It's just an absurd sort of mentality that comes out of some of these people. I myself hate Discovery and I've got issues with it, but if they changed it tomorrow, I would be like happy and thanking everyone, as opposed to just saying, no, I'm still not happy because they didn't do this tiny little thing that they need to do to make me happy. I'm still not happy. I'm going to complain about that little thing I'm going to focus on, even though everything else is fixed. So I found that funny. So I wanted to comment on that sort of fan mentality that there is. Those people who are stuck. He was complaining about, there was a part of, I guess, techno music where there was some droids like powering up and getting ready to fight or something, and they used some techno music instead of like traditional Star Wars soundtrack music or something. He had an issue with that, and even Mr. H, who I don't like, was like, I don't know what you're on about, man. I don't know what are you complaining about? Like, I don't, like that. Like, yes, I typed in the comments and I wanted to say, like, you're stuck in the 80s. Like, you're stuck in A New Hope. You don't want to even like accept like there's a part 4, and you just want to, like, you're just stuck in that and you just want to preserve that. And there's a name for that when people are stuck in that past and they want to continue repeating things because they feel comfort and familiarity in that moment. We tend to do that, but there's also a level where it becomes a dysfunction. So that was kind of interesting, because there are Star Trek people like that as well. There are people who still watch Star Trek on video, and the old Star Trek without the new effects, and they're like, no, that's how it really is. And like, no, that's how you remember it. I mean, when I first saw Star Trek, it was old, dodgy video that looked like it had been a fan film, like someone had gotten like film of an episode and like projected it on a wall and videotaped it. That's how bad it looked. I'm not joking. And I had like 2 episodes, tomorrow, City on the Edge of Forever, and Tomorrow's Yesterday. And I watched them from my video store forever because they were all I had for a couple of years of Star Trek on video. If I was one of these people, I'd still be watching that and be like, no, this is real Star Trek. This is pure Star Trek. People are doing the same thing with Star Wars. I get with all the changes that George made to the sequel, the original trilogy, you do want both versions. But I'm going to watch the new version with Hayden because it connects to the prequels, which I like. I do want the old version, and some things they changed weren't for the better, like the Sarlacc pit. I'm going to have to create my own version and just remove a couple of the scenes that suck and put the originals back in. But the rest, they pretty much did a good job of improving the series and making it consistent and more timely, modern, easier for younger people and people who aren't overly attached to the originals to consume. I get that. You do want the originals preserved, and George basically cut up the old ones and threw them out to make the new ones, which is just an abomination, an atrocity. Okay, he created it, so it's not as bad he did it that someone else might have done it, but it still happened. But yeah, Tom is stuck in that past, that 1977, and he needs to move on, because the only way the Mandalorian can work and go on, and Star Wars can go on, is if they keep the spirit alive and are true to the characters in the canon, but, update, modernize, have new things happen. You have to do both. Same with Star Trek. I don't want it to be Star Trek Continues. I love Star Trek Continues, but I don't want a new series to be Star Trek Continues. It'd be cool if they did one retro series in the original series and really just did that whole look and everything, and still made it sort of modern. That they could do that as a throwback along with other series. They can experiment. They can do that. They didn't have to totally visually reboot, for Anson's series and that. So Strange New Worlds, they could have done something like that. But I also want post Nemesis, and I want things to be different and better. It just has to be in the same spirit, style, tone of the older series and that. And they can do that. They're doing that with Mandalorian. So fans just need to shut up, be grateful, actually show ABC, Disney some thanks, and let them know you're going the right direction. Keep doing that, and we will stop bitching. But if you keep bitching about the smallest thing, they're going to dismiss all the other things you complain about that actually had merit. So someone needs to stick a gag in Tom's mouth and just praise the ending of this and hope that season 2 is better and the other shows are better, and you can kind of overwrite the sequel trilogy or underwrite the sequel trilogy with this other series that just are Star Wars all around it. You can't go back in history, can't go back in time, you can't remove it. You can work around it. But yeah, so he wants something that's never going to happen. But yeah, I'm going to go. I've talked a lot longer than I planned to, just for a couple of scenes from the final episode. But it's such a huge moment to see him come back. It was a huge moment to see Leia at the end of Rogue One. I loved that. A lot of people were complaining, she looked like a computer, looked like PlayStation 4 or something. I'm like, what's wrong with you people? You just want to be unhappy. You just want to complain. That is the currency that you've got, and you just want to stay there regardless. If you've got real reason to complain, great. But when that is fixed or changed or something better comes along, you need to respond to that. If you don't respond to that normally, then there's something wrong with you. So there's something wrong with a certain number of fans, Star Trek and Star Wars. But yeah, I think I've covered that. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, and I'm going to have to now buy Disney Plus so I can watch the whole season, because I want to see the whole thing now, although it's not going to have the big ending that it would have had for me. The big, money shots kind of already spent. But it's still worth watching, so I am going to watch it, despite Gina Carano and Rosario Dawson and their transphobic tendencies. I'm going to look past them because I want to see the whole episode finishing with Luke. But yeah, I'm still talking. Bye.